Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of February 16th through February 21st, 2025, and this is covering my vacation to Doha, Qatar. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, you guys, this is a travel spread, and I think it's going to come together quickly at this point, but that doesn't mean it was a quick spread because I did a lot of work before coming on camera. So first of all, I planned this spread using the Fun Storyteller Kit. So I have those products here. I'm going to pull them out. I'm not going to show you my sketch, but you'll be able to kind of figure it out from looking at my completed spread, but if you want to see more about that, that's in the Storyteller Classroom. So essentially what I put in here are a few things. First, the main jumping off point were these "This Was Fun" cards. So this was my trip to Doha, and I do Project Life weekly, but when I do travel, I adjust the dates to fit my travel. So I don't care about this being Monday through Sunday. Instead, these were the dates that I was in Doha. So I have 6 of these 4x6 cards, and I'm just going to kind of lay them out in a random order to start. I'm like trying to balance the colors so I don't have like all the orangey ones like next to each other. There we go. So let's see if, I don't know, I'm going to stick with that. But so this was my jumping off point. And then I also put this vellum in here. And I had put a couple pieces because I wasn't sure. I planned this out before I went to Doha. So I didn't know for sure if I'd be able to narrow it down to one spread or if I would need an insert. And I was able to narrow it down so I don't need an insert. So I'm going to use this for a title card and a filler card. And I brought this story is so fun embellishment from the kit I'm going to put on there just to have some resting space between my photos, and this one for the dates. And then I'm going to somehow put the words like Doha, Qatar on here. I'm thinking on there with some large stamping. So before I came on camera here, I went through all of my photos on my computer. I narrowed down my favorites from the trip and I edited them using a Color Story app. I like to use that app, and I edit most of my photos on there for scrapbooking and also for my Instagram account. So like what I share on Instagram is also from there. And I do that partially because I just really like the way they edit, but also it kind of gives you a uniform look across the spread. So what I decided to do for this spread was pick some photos to fit into 5 of these. And then also pick, I'm just kind of rearranging them as I talk. Also pick some, or also do some typed journaling to include in one of them. And the reason I decided to do that was because I could fit more words in one card that way. If you've watched my Project Life videos in the past, you know that I typically do handwritten journaling. I do like to type journaling when I have more to say because you can fit more on one card and you can tell a longer story and you can edit yourself. So I tend to do that more with a travel spread like this, but not necessarily every travel spread. I'm gonna just go ahead and round the corners on these as I'm talking and get these kind of adhered down as a starting place. Actually, I don't know that I'm going to adhere them yet. I might adhere this one though. So I also get questions about like, how do you narrow down your photos? I'm going to be transparent here and say I took something like 800 photos while I was in Doha. Now, some of those are duplicates, so that's easy to, eliminate the ones where you took like 6 photos of the same thing and only one of them is good. Or some of them were photos that I had edited while on vacation to share in my stories. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I shared my travels on Instagram stories as I went. And those are saved in Story Highlight if you want to go back and check that out. If you're interested in Doha as a travel destination or you just want to see more. Then I selected photos for this spread. So to narrow down those photos. So essentially what I did was I went through all of my photos and I picked my favorites. So I narrowed down that, what I say, like 800 photos I had down to, I think, about 150. And those were my favorite photos from the trip. Now those 150 photos are going to be where I pull photos from for all of my projects. So photos from this trip are going to show up in multiple projects. Project Life is the first place I'm putting them. Well, the first physical project. I also did a recap on my Instagram, which takes time to narrow down and pick 10 photos to recap. Then I also am doing this. I'm going to probably do some traditional layouts in my mini-me album. Some of those will be about the trip itself. Others will just be stories about me, and I will use photos from the trip, different types of stories about this point in my life. Finally, I will do a travel album. So having all these photos narrowed so I only have like the 150 or so to choose from was the easiest way for me to have that done once, and then I will go back to that for every single one of my projects. I took those 150 photos or so and I edited them all in a color story. And I use a couple filters on there, and I just picked what I like and I just did it. You can batch edit photos, so I did about 10 at a time. So it didn't take me too long, but I was able to have them all edited. I also did a lot of touch-ups. I have Photoshop on my iPad, so I've been doing this for a while, but Apple recently introduced it through AI for free if you have an Apple device. And essentially you can use AI to touch up your photos, to remove, people in the background, to remove different things that you don't want. So I went through those 150 photos, and a lot of them I made edits on. I removed things I didn't want. Like I think there was like a trash can here. There was a weird rope right there. So I removed things from the photos to make them more appealing for my albums. Now, I don't want to make them look unrealistic, and I'm not removing all crowds. I didn't remove this guy who was walking here. I could have, but I thought he was really fitting because he's in the traditional outfit for Doha, so I liked having that on here. And so I edited all of those photos and I have them all done. So now when I go to do my travel album, that piece is already done. So that was a large portion of what I had to do to prep for this spread. But I'm doing it not just for this spread, but for anything I do to document this trip. I'm just gonna go ahead and add my rolling date stamp on here while I'm talking. So then I had to narrow down what I wanted to include on this spread. So to make more photos fit on this spread, you can see I don't have a lot of filler content. I essentially have one filler card on each page. This one's really the title. So this is really the only filler card that I have on this spread. And I feel like you need something to kind of give your eye space to rest. But using these as a jumping off point gave me more space, because if this was a full photo, these were all photos, this page would just be solid photos except this one card, and it would look imbalanced. Now, sometimes people do that and people like that look with all the photos. That's not for me. So this gives me the ability to kind of break up the photos while still including a photo in all of the pockets on this page except this one, right? So that's great. Then in terms of selecting my photos, what I did was I picked photos that represented, first, my favorite photos from the trip, the things that represented different sites or where we went and what we did, and the things that told a story. So you might think, okay, I only had, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only have 9 photos from these days from a travel destination. Why did I select a photo of coffee? Because this gave me the feel that I wanted. This was the feel that I was going for, because this was a nice, relaxing, warm location. I had this coffee that I really enjoyed at this coffee shop that was really nice. You can see the palm trees out the window. You can see the sunshine. It was a good feel, so I wanted that one. Same with this one of me at the pool reading. Not a tourist destination or a big site that we saw, but it gives you kind of the feel. I wanted to include this one from the plane because I just love it. It was the best plane photo I've ever taken in my life. A couple of these other ones, these were more of the iconic things. This is a picture of us, so I have to cover it for this, but there's the skyline of the building. So I wanted to include that one. Here, the skyline is different. It's further off. I wanted this one for the feel for where it was because I really liked this area. This was the souk, which was one of the the old-fashioned market that we went to, I really wanted to include that. Again, here's another one kind of for the feel. This is giving you the feel of the city that I want, and I feel like I've covered enough of the destinations and things that I saw that this gives you a complete overview of the trip. So what I'm thinking about here is I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to add anything on these. I was thinking of adding something to add titles that would kind of explain like what these locations are, but looking at it now, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I like them as is. I'm thinking I might just want to add some like word phrase strips just to add something to the spread. I don't think I want to add anything on the 3x4 photos or this one. I do want to stamp out Doha, Qatar on here. So I'm going to pick one of the Alphas Are Awesome stamp sets, and I'm going to stamp that probably on like white paper and adhere it on here. I might put some stitching through it just to hold it down. And then I'm thinking I'm gonna pull some white word phrase strips from my stash to add something on these so it's not just plain photos. And that's gonna be it. I'm gonna wrap it up. So I'm gonna put you guys on voiceover. I might put some music on too as I go ahead and get this one put together.
Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thanks. Bye.